All right. Well,
here we go.
Talk to me about Now you lost me as a friend. No, you can't get it. It's in the pit of despair.
No, it's not. He's got it.
Oh, okay.
Peter, it's right here.
Go, Gadget Arm.
There we go.
Roll to the side.
Okay. Take 2.
Sometimes you have lack of sleep, by the way.
Well, you were up a little early, probably not earlier than you usually are, but you guys were serving a search warrant this morning. Big bust it looked like. From
just a lot of complaints from the neighborhood over there off of 207 Lightsey Road, and just a lot of complaints for a lot of vehicles in and out, traffic basically. So our team did a phenomenal job. Our special investigations unit, and this morning our St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, along with K9 and drone team and narcotics unit and evidence, and our SWAT team hit the residence first thing this morning as the sun was coming up. So when I left, there were 13 residents we had taken out of it, but we had 2 outstanding that we were still looking for when I left. So just this is one of those things where the neighborhoods made complaints, and we do the due diligence and do the work. We pay attention. It takes time sometimes. But again, this morning, Brian Way paid a visit from St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. So just we're happy no one was hurt on both sides of the house, and everybody's in custody, of course, and questioning will go on. So yeah. Good morning, actually. Yeah, it's always good when these major investigations, I say major, these long-term investigations come together. But our narcotics unit is just a bunch of good men and women that just work hard here, and we get a lot of complaints. And this was generated off complaints, residents and neighbors.
And I was going to ask, how long was this investigation? Because it seems like something like this requires so much planning and everything else. So how long was the investigation? In place?
Sure, it was multiple months. We had a little over almost 3.5 months, 4 months. But of course, the complaints and the people, some of the same names you'll see, of course, coming through the system this morning when they come into the county jail. So so it's months of investigative work. In between.
So the Hardwick Hotel, they have a frequent flyer.
Oh, the gated community, sir? Yeah, gated community.
They're frequent flyers.
You know what's funny is, and I think, we talk about this, but some of the frequent flyers we're not seeing, and I think it's with that 10% reduction in recidivism where we're getting people back on their feet and giving people chances that have committed, multiple crimes, and now they getting their life together, per se. So new customers, kind of weird. Yeah. And our count's low.
Yeah. No, and it's amazing, the Veterans Court and you guys.
Mental health court coming up now.
We talked about
good things.
Those things really do help, though.
I have to agree with you. Yeah. Sure. And it's that community buy-in, too, as well. With our community, I thought when we actually rolled this thing out, and Pete, I think you actually spoke about this years ago, this re-entry, pre-entry outreach program, and it wasn't popular, not here locally, but here locally, it's been embraced. I mean, I talk about it a lot at I speak a lot, as you know, and I talk about what we're doing different in St. Johns County and what happened to the homeless downtown. And I think it's just doing stuff different. And I think the community knows now you invest a little bit and the return on investment is a lot bigger and better. Yeah. Good day. Anyways, so.
Hey, speaking of investments, another bust that happened recently. There was a guy that you guys found about $400,000 in cash in gambling machines. And talk to me about this. What did this all entail? Because we went over this story yesterday, and there was a couple of things that I thought, well, that's pretty bad. And then a couple of things that I thought, how does that make sense?
Sure.
I don't know. Tell me about this. What happened
so again, this is a probably even more in-depth investigation where you have complaints again of illegal gambling machines, of course, that are regulated by DBPR, which is the state of Florida. And then, of course, you have, basically where a business is selling a item that can be used and quickly turned into what is illegally called drug paraphernalia once you stick a drug into that. So there was illegal sales in the parking lot. So it was a very lengthy, intense investigations. The community in Hastings had been screaming for months at us. We were doing nothing about it. They were patient. I kept sending emails and text messages, be patient, be patient. This is not just going there by, one piece of crack cocaine or one bag of dope and walk away and we do a big search warrant. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. We wanted to get inside the business. We wanted to legally, seize items like cash. $400,000 is a decent sized seizure for us as far as cash goes that are generated from illegal proceeds.
Right.
So, and everybody's like, oh, it's just illegal gambling machines. I know, but usually with illegal activity comes other legal activity, illegal activity of, prostitution in the parking lot, drug sales in the parking lot, selling pipes behind the counter as drug paraphernalia in the store. And that is being known as being used for the consumption of illegal narcotics. So again, it's a massive investigation. We couldn't have asked for better timing. I actually had coffee with a conversation the next morning when we hit that thing in Hastings. They had about 50 people in there on a Saturday to come listen to me. And we had that bust on a Friday afternoon or Thursday afternoon. So it just worked out perfect. So it's still a long ways to go. We're not done. We've generated other complaints off of that. And we follow up with those complaints. So the men and women of the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, it starts in patrol. and then goes, of course, to our men and women that work undercover. So just a great job again. But this is a partnership we share with the community. Mm-hmm. This is a community saying thank you. We'll allow you to put electronic devices on our property to help you with your investigation. We'll allow you to sit in our driveway or occupy our homes sometimes and become just to get this illegal narcotics and activity. People don't want this in their neighborhoods. No one wants this in their neighborhoods. Right. And I say, move it somewhere else. That's not welcome here. We're not going to tolerate it here.
Mm. Yeah. And I got one more question on the 207 because you made a statement. You said there was 13 arrests and
this morning on Bryan Way.
All 13 of them were in that location.
Yes.
And you identified, okay, they're definitely there. And is that the reason you selected today to do it? Like,
no,
we know there were 13 there. Or
no, physically in the briefing this morning, way before the sun came up, we were in a briefing where the pictures in there, and there was going to be potentially 4 to 5 suspects in the residence. So, and also just to clarify, not all will go to jail. I mean, some will have charges. We did have a few that had outstanding warrants before we hit the residence, and probably the man that's actually owns the house will go to jail for maintaining a drug dwelling that actually we were selling narcotics out of. So lengthy investigation, but 13 was actually, we were kind of not laughing, but we were snickering. I'll show you the picture too. They just kept coming out, and we still had 2 people outstanding.
And that's what I'm envisioning in my head. I was like, okay, were they waiting for all 13 to get there? I mean, in my head, and you guys were only expecting like 5.
Yeah, we're
expecting 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's a great question. No, and I see what you're kind of alluding to is that we wait for those times where it's the prime time to hit it with we get the most bang for the buck. No, we don't, because we can actually get a person if they're leaving a scene, or if they actually are, maybe there's a warrant tonight for them, we'll get them on a traffic stop tonight, and we can kind of take care of those dangerous threats. But no, we had no clue we were going to get 13 people out of there, and some new faces that you'll see, of course, in the county jail. But again, this is that lengthy investigation, and 2 of our high value targets were in there, but we're missing 2. Yeah, actually, when I left there, we were searching under the trailer with our canines because the rumor was there was actually a trap door that actually went through the floor where you could escape into the bottom.
No way.
That's normal. Yeah, it's pretty much normal. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I've seen that happen a couple of times.
It was pretty cool there because one of our dog handlers, which is Shirok, Deputy Shirok, his dog is Junior. I physically saw him throw Junior up into the ceiling because we had some intel that one of the suspects was actually, that's where he hides when the cops come. So we threw Junior up into the ceiling. It was pretty powerful.
Wow.
Yeah. And Junior's, he may look 55 pounds, but he's got probably one of our worst bites in the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office.
Hey, you got to watch out for a deputy who can throw that dog into the ceiling. Jeez, I don't want to mess with that deputy right there.
Most of our boys and girls, we've gone a different direction. We've gone from kind of this to kind of this.
Is Junior Belgian?
I think he's a Malinois. Yeah. We just added 2 new dogs last night, actually. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Malinois are crazy.
Yeah. We've been working hard. So it was funny. If I show you the photo, I was in the back of the Bearcat, which is our tactical vehicle. I was the first vehicle in front. I was riding the back seat, and one of our canines, which is Corporal Hill, Robert Hill. M'Baku is one of our biggest dogs. It's probably close to 90 pounds, but M'Baku is this big black Malinois, and he was physically like sitting in my lap in the Bearcat because we were packed in the Bearcat 1.
Well, you're telling me you still go on SWAT raids?
Oh my goodness!
As the sheriff of St. Johns County, you're still going.
Is it an adrenaline rush? It's got to be.
Oh, it is. It's so. But I like seeing.
What goes on in that when you're pulling up? Are you guys completely quiet and just focusing?
Actually, you'll hear him kind of talk a few things as we're pulling up. As you may hear, we just saw movement in the bedroom. Somebody just opened the window, the door. So you hear, but they keep it pretty quiet. They're very disciplined. So today there was 23 SWAT members actually in that vehicle, not including canine. So it was pretty packed out, not including, of course, some of our support services too, the drivers of the Bearcats. And but yeah, there's a lot going on. So actually, I kind of just took a picture because you can watch everything, all the training, all the intel, everything come together, and watch your men and women actually put that action into plan. Or that plan into action with minimal, of course, flashbangs going off. Of course, there's there's distraction techniques that we use, but it's amazing to see the men and women come together and do it professionally and say things like, "Hey, don't shoot the dog." There was a massive dog in their pit bull. And I heard our men and women say numerous times, do not shoot the dog. Do everything in your power not to hurt that animal. Kind of thing. So it's the little things. It's in the details. But as to have the sheriff there, of course, when the suspects come out, it's like, Mr. Hardwick, why are you doing this? I mean, that's from me walking the jail. That's from me knowing this community.
Yeah.
I was like, settle down, man. We have a judge's order to be here. It's not like we just showed up this morning to harass you.
Right.
Just hang tight. We'll explain to you. We'll read it to you why we're here. So yeah, it's phenomenal. It's of course, as you know, I've been to combat, so I've seen a lot of things like this my whole life, but there's something about when you do it and you're driving on the road, the Bearcat doors are open and you're watching cars go by at stoplights, staring up going, when somebody's gonna have a bad, somebody's cup of coffee is not made properly this morning.
So like drone technology has advanced so much, and you've been doing this for decades.
Sure.
How much safer does that make it for your intel when you're going into a situation like this? Because I mean, like you said, you didn't know there was 13 in there,
right?
But with that drone technology, I mean, it seems to be like a huge game changer for what you do.
Yeah, I'm seeing drones more and more with you guys.
It is, and it goes along too with our air unit too as well. You know, because our air unit now with capabilities that we have, the old days of the helicopter having to fly at 200-300 feet, it's at 4,000 feet. You wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't even know it's even up there because our camera systems can literally from 4,000 feet see the stickers on the car, the little sticker with the date of expiration on the car, your car tag. That's great. They can read your name, my name tag from 4,000 feet. So here you have the 30,000 foot view per se, the helicopter, and then I physically hear on the radio on the way there, go ahead and launch the drone. So now the drone is guiding us in because some things happen. You have to make a decision as you get to this house. There could be people outside that have firearms in their hands where you now let's just stop for a minute, reassess, you know, because we don't want to, first of all, we don't want to kill people and we don't want people killing us.
Right.
Or killing innocent people. So we have to make readjustments. So it adds another dynamic to of how we complete things successfully with not just showing up, kicking your door in and everybody's, you know, running around like roaches per se. Those days are over. It's a lot of intel, it's a lot of patience, it's a lot of training, and it's adding all these tools, you know, and it's just like the new helicopter that's coming. It's going to add another capability to us with the brand new computer systems, FLIR systems at nighttime. We have found a lot of, and now that our helicopter's up more, physically they're calling in and telling our deputy sheriffs, hey, they just walked down that, just 2 days ago I was on Holmes, and I heard the helicopter say, the person that you're looking for with a knife just walked down the wooded trail by the pond. We never would have that capability before. So just, again, putting all these pieces to the puzzle, it's an adrenaline rush in that vehicle, but also too, as the sheriff, the vicarious liability lies on my entire shoulders that entire ride. Whether you shoot, you don't shoot, you hurt somebody, you don't hurt somebody, God forbid you get in a car crash, there's just so much liability. And it's like in the back of that Bearcat this morning leading the way there, it's looking at everything going, this is all in my hands today, right? Yeah. And it could be the last day per se. Right.
So we're talking about two different crime scenes here. Do you approach them differently? Like, was the Hastings one different, like how you approach that kind of raid?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So again, it's taking the totality of the circumstances, of course. And again, as much as we'd like to have the whole parking lot full of people, that's not the best way to approach a situation.
Gotcha.
Let's pick them off one at a time outside of there where it's not as dangerous. So the 207 Express was a different situation, a different approach because it's right there on basically Main Street, 207. And you know there's nothing around there, no trees or nothing. So we took a backyard approach, we call it. And of course, the helicopter was watching the entire thing, and kind of once we got them all kind of inside the store there, that was the time we chose to actually hit that location. So, and this morning, you know, people say, well, you always do it before the sun comes up. No, we don't. We always do it whenever it's safest and best for us in the community that we're actually serving the search warrant in. So we do it all hours of the day.
Okay. You talked about vicarious liability, and we had a shooting where the sheriff department had to unfortunately take down someone last week off of US 1.
Yes, sir.
What happens, what's the process that the law enforcement officers has to go through after a situation like that? I mean, there was 4 to 6, I think, officers involved in that situation.
Yes, sir.
What's the process that, no one wants to use their weapon and take someone's life. What's the process that happens with the law enforcement officer after that?
Sure. And Troy, I'm glad you said that too as well. People think that, taking the life of a human being, no matter what the other human being has done in life, it's not easy. I'm telling you, it's not mentally easy. It's not psychologically easily, and it's not physically easy for you. But so the process is they're immediately taken, their firearms, unfortunately, are taken from them. Their marked patrol cars are taken from them, and they go into administrative investigative. So we provide attorneys for our people here. We have a retainer with a local law firm. And we provide attorneys immediately. They don't give statements. We separate them from each other, basically our deputy sheriffs. And then it starts a process too. So if you were to take a patrol car out of your front driveway, take your firearm away from you involved in a shooting, you've just taken what gives you identity in life. This is what kind of protects us as identity. So we reissue a firearm. We reissue another vehicle if the vehicle was used, of course, in the shooting per se. And then that gives them their sense of, hey, you no longer have law enforcement powers right now. You're on administrative leave. However, we're not taking what shows. You
still are.
You're not taking your career away from you. Yeah, because it's scary. Yeah. So at that process too as well, we are basically by the state law have to have a secondary review over our investigative shootings. We have actually chosen the office of the state attorney. It's the best place because they're going to be the prosecutors of both sides of the house per se. So they are reviewing the outside review, which is required by law. The attorneys, of course, come from the outside. They're not our attorneys that actually protect our deputy sheriffs, whether the shooting is good or bad. And then, so they have to go through a psychological evaluation. They have to go back to the range and shoot and get qualified again. And then they have to wait until we actually can. It's so easy now because you kind of turn the body cams on. And you start reviewing it as opposed to just taking statements.
Yeah.
And then also to the cell phone, there's always videos of the cell phone out there. So we collect those pretty quick too. So if Troy's out there at the intersection and films it, most of our people in St. Johns County will call us and say, hey, I have an actual other angle. Mm-hmm. But in that particular case, there was 4 deputy sheriffs. They're all administrative leave. We provide faith-based services. We provide psychological services. We provide everything you can think of to make sure that they are fit to come back to duty before they can get cleared.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that's important.
Yeah.
You guys also, I mean, it's been an action-packed few weeks here. You guys, we ran body cam videos, speaking of the body cams, a week or so ago about the woman in the pickup truck who, I think she was out of Citrus County?
Yeah.
This was a very interesting encounter and a police chase that it turned into.
Yeah, I called Sheriff Prendergrass over there in Citrus, told him to get his trash out of my county. But anyways, one thing we switched in St. Johns County is, when I came in, I'm sure I said serving with excellence, and I've kind of changed it now. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I'm calling it professionally aggressive. And we are professionally aggressive, and we spend a lot of time in training and holding our people accountable now with body-worn cameras. But you have a situation like this where our deputy sheriffs, here you go, using a technology-based policing, which license plate readers show that this vehicle got off somewhere of 95 and 16. That was one out of Citrus County for multiple crimes. And then our deputy sheriffs go to work looking for that vehicle. Deputy Marquise Davis Welch finds the vehicle in the McDonald's parking lot. Of course, now, when you start looking for these wanted vehicles, you're not going to have usually one deputy sheriff. You usually got multiple deputy sheriffs in that area looking for this vehicle. Mm-hmm. Because we think about it, if you're in our jurisdiction, you got off on 95, you're probably going to commit another crime because you're wanted for other crimes somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So our deputy sheriffs go to work looking for him. Of course, Marquise Davis Welch finds him. Usually when a person sees multiple deputy sheriffs, they think twice about that. Well, apparently she didn't do her homework on St. Johns County Sheriff's Office that we don't tolerate crime and we will chase you and crash you. But anyways, she ran from the police. And, it's just, you got to make that split second decision. As you see in the video, Marquise Davis Welch's camera, he's actually talking to her. You got a warrant for your arrest. And she's kind of playing stupid a little bit, but what she's basically looking for is where the exit plan is going to be. Mm-hmm. And then once Deputy Howard exits his DUI car, which is that other deputy walking up, she now sees she can go straight ahead and there's no deputy in the way per se, cars. But she forgot there's 3 other deputy sheriffs behind her. Yeah. And then the relationship that we share with our brothers and sisters from the other agencies, FHP immediately picked the chase up on 95, which makes it easier for us. They made the decision to, of course, pit, which is to end the chase up into, and the traffic wasn't that bad actually. If you saw, so the video footage you're watching is our helicopter, mm-hmm. Which is phenomenal.
It looked good.
It's unreal. Yeah. And that's why I keep saying, I was like, people are saying, you don't need you do need a helicopter to patrol a car in the sky. Yeah. We will never lose these suspects. So anyway, so again,
and that's something a drone can't do.
No way.
A drone is limited. People say, oh, it's drones now. You can just use. No, drones are limited in the space. I mean, you can follow a guy for miles and miles and miles in a helicopter, and you need to sometimes.
Yeah, and Pete, you and I have talked about this too. You can back the patrol car back off if it gets too dangerous. The helicopter, people on the ground, you may think they think they know what's going on with the helicopter. They have no clue. They're not thinking of a helicopter on top of their head at 3,000 or 4,000 feet or 2,000 feet. Yeah. So again, that's another tool we actually, with a helicopter, can make the call, which is what happened in the car chase a few months ago in Flagler County. The helicopter and our real-time intelligence said back off. There's traffic backed up in Flagler County. All of our deputy sheriffs backed off. And I think you remember, but the guy hit a tractor trailer at 125 miles an hour, fleeing from a carjacking in Jacksonville. So the tools we use, we can't do without them, and we got to provide we can't. And I know I beat this up, but the 1969 helicopter can't fly forever. That thing has got to eventually be.
It's in a museum, right?
Yeah, it's got to be. It's doing good right now.
I can tell you this: it's the exact same helicopter I flew in the 90s. When I was with Chuck.
Yes, sir.
Up there.
Did you have that mustache?
It's the same one.
Exactly. I had the mustache.
It was curled back then, baby. It was curled at the end.
There's a picture out there with that too.
No,
you don't go finding that one.
You got the old wax twist?
Oh yeah, I had it.
Troy Blevins.
Say, buy something here, Sonny.
Just when you think you know somebody.
Yeah, I had that too.
But on these type of crimes, and it's not like we're a crime-ridden area. Really, we're not.
No.
I mean, you look at totality, and I'll throw it out there. The federal government puts out these reductions in crime and stuff. I don't care about that. The reduction in crime, the crime stats for real are here is what we give you. We don't have a whole lot of violent crime. But the other thing too is we just don't. We don't tolerate crime. I'm not going to tolerate you in St. Johns County you are wanted, or you come in my jurisdiction, especially commit a violent crime. I'm not putting up with it.
So what do you say to the people out there? There's some naysayers too about some of these pit maneuvers.
Sure.
So if you've already identified the suspect and you already know who they are and where they're heading towards, is it really that necessary to be that aggressive to stop them on like 95 or something? Can you just teach me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So this is what the concept too of the head is, do we want to have more victims of more crimes? Because now what they're doing, so you ran from the police, we decided not to pit, we let you keep going. Now you know you're wanted, by the way. If you didn't know you're wanted at the time, now you know you're wanted. So your mind is survivability. So again, that's where we see an increase in actually violent crimes that occur after that. But so the thing we're actually doing here, and here's another example too as well. We had a pit maneuver done just recently, a month or two ago, right up here by Palencia. And the person wasn't wanted in a crime, but the person was driving the wrong way on US 1 heading towards Jacksonville. Our deputy sheriffs made the decision to pit that vehicle. There was really no crime committed besides reckless driving, let's say. Mm-hmm. We pitted the vehicle. The guy was in an emergency medical mode, had no idea where he was at.
Oh my gosh.
Some innocent family is going to get killed. We have to take these measures, and we know how to do it, by the way.
Yeah.
We know how to stick these cars, put them into the ditch per se, and save people's lives. But people think that if we're not chasing them, they don't drive like idiots. You're wrong. I can show you helicopter video footage where there's no deputy sheriff cars around at all. But they're going to say, well, the sheriff's office now is in the sky chasing you. You don't even know when helicopters are flying over the top of you unless it's a Navy helicopter flying at 300 feet.
Right.
You don't know we're at 2,000, 1,000, 4,000 feet. You would never know.
Oh, wow.
So even when some of these videos where you back off, we're just watching your vehicle, because now what we're doing is actually telling our deputy sheriffs, hey, just stop at the Circle K, and then we can kind of hone in on it.
Yeah.
So I tell you this, that usually a person that's committed a violent crime and running from the police has got no bars. Basically, they got no morals. Where I'm going to go ahead. I got to stay free, and I will do anything it takes to stay free. So what we start doing here is, why are we going to chase you for 17 miles? Let's chase you for 70 feet and pitch you. Nobody gets hurt. We know how to do it. And then it's over and done with. And it might be a medical emergency, or it might be something just stupid you're running because you're wanted out another county for robbery.
Right.
We have to. Not all the time. We back off quite a bit too as well. Some of these crimes, Davey, you're exactly right. We get the naysayers. It's not a naysayer. It's just a person that's simply saying, you're probably right sometimes. We should have backed it off. But it's hard sometimes to give you all the facts because there's too much going on at one time. So there's decisions. If we got a homicide suspect running, we got a person that's committed a sexual battery, crime on a child, you got to understand, we have to end this and solve this crime. But everybody will throw stones until they're a victim on the receiving end and say, why didn't you do it for me? But so I think we're doing the right thing, but it's not all the time. We're not abusing the power, but we know how to do it, and we do it well.
I mean, if I see something that's going on, what am I supposed to do as a citizen? Am I supposed to pull over, get off the road? Because I see there's a black Corolla in there.
Right? That's what happened in that. There was the black car just was riding right along with him, and you're like, why didn't you just pull over?
Get over. Right.
And sometimes I think we've all been there too, in defense of the black Corolla too. It's like, what's going on? What's going on? We can all see it because we can see it from the 1,000-foot view. But and people if we could just tell them, if you see the lights and siren coming up, especially 95, just back off for a minute.
Yeah.
Because there's something going on significant. But you're right, and I agree with some of these naysayers out there. They're not naysayers. They're just stroking their opinion out there, and I totally respect it.
Well,